All right, this is a video on if you want to help a small business or you're trying to grow your small business. These are the three things that have been most helpful for us and the things that I've learned over time that if I were to go try to help a small business and improve my ability to increase my income and make sure I'm like unfireable, you know, I would say these are the three things that matter the most as a small business owner myself. And number one is, do you know how to get more eyeballs on our business? And so I think a lot of times people think like, oh, does that mean posting on social media? I actually think the biggest play right now is understanding paid advertising. So how do you use Facebook, Instagram, Google, TikTok, LinkedIn to use their ad platforms to take content that's already performing well? So assuming you're producing content, or if you're not producing content, to create content, be able to push it in front of your ideal audience segments and drive attention to your company in a streamlined way. And so it's not just enough to be able to push the buttons, right? Hey, here's where I'm going to put this video in front of these people. But what's the entire process like? Hey, are they going to be educated during that? And then where are we moving them to? Are we moving them to a decision making part of our funnel, right? So really understanding what's the marketing and sales funnel, being able to drive attention into that. And you might be thinking, well, I don't know how to do that. And I would say, well, I didn't either. And I didn't know how to do this like 6, 7 years ago. And that's where YouTube's been transformative for me, right? Just watch YouTube videos on how to run Facebook and Google ads for small businesses, how to learn LinkedIn ads, right? And the cool thing is there's hundreds, if not tens of thousands of hours of free content on each one of these about how to drive traffic through whichever source, or maybe it's SEO, right? Writing blogs, how to get traction. And you don't have to start from scratch. And it's not some hidden secret. It's a matter of taking the time to watch the videos, build a repetition, and then be willing to offer those services for someone, probably for free in the beginning as a case study, and grow that. Learn from your mistakes, learn from the success you get, and be able to take that and essentially go to another company and say, hey, I could do this for you. So number one is, how do you drive paid traffic? Number two is sales. So I think selling gets such a bad rap, and I used to be such a anti-sales person, right? Thinking that sales was this slimy, sleazy thing, and it doesn't have to be. At the end of the day, sales is just consulting someone on helping them see if there's a solution to the problem that they're facing. Like if you're dealing with a human, they have a problem that they're facing, right? I don't care how amazing their life is, problems just shift, right? You might have better problems than worse problems, but you still have problems. You still have things that you're trying to figure out and solve. And sales is a matter of saying, hey, I have a potential solution for that problem. And I think if you're like empathetic and you're an introvert, like sales can actually be a really powerful place because you just care about what this person's problem is. And you're just being honest of whether or not you think the solution can help. Where sales does get sleazy or slimy is if you're actually listening to this person and you understand that your solution does not help their problem, then, and you still push it on them, that is where sales gets sleazy and slimy. And I never suggest that. So but what is cool is if you do believe in the product or service and you're able to connect with someone to help them understand what their problem is, and you just make a true, honest judgment call, hey, would this solution help solve this problem? Then sales is supernatural and actually relatively easy in the fact that you're making an honest judgment for someone saying, yes, I think this solution actually would be the thing to solve your problem. And so if you're willing to sit in the discomfort of hearing someone tell you no, or hey, I'm not sure, and having to kind of uncover that more, I can see where sales is difficult. But at the end of the day, we're really just trying to help someone understand, hey, how bad is the problem? What about the problem is giving you an issue? And then, hey, well, does the solution that I have to offer actually solve those things? And if it does, hey, let's move forward. And you might have to overcome some objections about price or whatever, but a lot of that's done in helping them see how significant the problem is and how your solution can help solve that. So number two is definitely sales. And if you're nervous about sales, just watch a ton of YouTube videos. Again, there's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of free training hours on sales and how to be a better salesperson. And the third is how to increase your lifetime value of a customer, right? So if you're going to go to a small business and say, hey, you've got all these customers, and they tend to stick around for 6 months. What will we need to do to keep them to stick around for 12 months? And you want to kind of look at the processes that is taking someone's business that's keeping someone for 6 months and asking, well, what can we do to keep them for 12 months? right? So it's what we call like internal sales or internal marketing, meaning rather than going out to the public that might not be a customer yet and trying to attract them, saying, hey, we already have customers. How do we market and sell to them to keep them longer or to get them buying something again from us, right? So much easier to sell something to an existing client than it is to get someone to buy something for the first time from your company that's never heard of you before. So if I were to go and look at a small business, right, I might think, hey, I'm super curious, how long do you guys keep your, how many times do your restaurant clients come and see you guys in a 6 month period? They might say, well, we don't track it. Boom, there's number one. Well, maybe we should be tracking, because if they only come once in 6 months and on average they spend, let's just say $50, that's all a new customer is worth to us, is $50, right? But what if we said, hey, well, what if we got them to come back 3 times in that 6 month period and they spend $50 each time? Well, that's $150. And I know on the surface it doesn't sound like a ton of money, but that is a significant, like, I'm pretty sure I'm, not the greatest at math, but that's a 200% increase in the amount of money that someone is spending in a restaurant, right? And the more times that they come, the more times that they're likely to keep coming, and honestly, probably, tell their friends about it. And it has a downstream effect. And so you're looking at, hey, how can I help you with your processes and systems to improve customer retention, to improve lifetime value of a customer? So these are three things that, like, to me, marketing, driving traffic, two, sales, and three, improving lifetime value, would make you pretty much unfireable from a business, right? And especially in a small business. If you're in a bigger company where you don't have the ability to, maybe play around with these things, or they've already got specialists, it's a different story. But if I had to go to the marketplace today and I just had to go get work, like, I would be focusing on these three skills. And you only have to master one to pretty much become unfireable. And so I would say definitely start watching YouTube videos on this stuff. These have been super helpful. I'm thinking maybe I'll make a video going over kind of my favorite sources for each of how I've studied this stuff and learned it. But um, that's what I would do. And so if you're stuck out there and you're like, I want to be able to go, I want to get a job somewhere, I want to become really valuable to the company, these are the three areas that I would be focusing on. So hope this helps.